came into the pit today because I wanted to do a review on air raid. And then it turned out to look like a Where's Waldo page. Where is he? Ah, he's right there. He's right in front of you. But basically, I thought, why clean up at first? I could use this as an update. So if you guys are wondering, this is what I'm doing. I'm basically getting ideas much faster than I can complete them. And I'm sure a lot of customizers have done this. It's kind of terrible, and you get this mess that you see in front of you. But I'll point out a few things. I'm going to be doing a movie Leadfoot, Tracks, and Silverbolt. I'm going to be doing a Transformers Prime Hotspot and Blades. And there's a little chrome dome that I'm going to throw on my Generations. Now, you can obviously see there's an Ultra Magnus in the back. I'm going to let you guys guess what that is. If you guess right, you're going to get a hearty pat on the back from me. This is Dark of the Moon Air Raid. Now, this isn't the air raid you might be thinking about from Dark of the Moon. Most people are familiar with the green fella, the guy who looked like a gladiator, and I'll be showing you him later in a comparison. This guy, he's for the most part a slight retool on Revenge of the Fallen Thrust. Now, Revenge of the Fallen Thrust, the only real difference with him was that he didn't have a MechTech port. Now, there's no MechTech port on that arm. There's just on this arm. Now, that MechTech weapon is basically a retool of Dark of the Moon Topspin. And you can see it's actually kind of cooler. It becomes a slightly better cannon when you pull it back. But I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of MechTech weapons at all. So really, this guy, his originator was Breakaway. And I think the coolest part about this guy is I have an air figure. This figure has a clear cockpit. Now, Breakaway had a clear cockpit. I'm not sure if that's where it came from, but this guy is supposed to have a purple cockpit. And I'm going to show you his card back and all those things. And honestly, if you look around, in every pictures I've seen of him, he has a purple cockpit. Now, it's already hard to see his face behind this clear cockpit, but it's even worse behind the purple cockpit. I honestly think I should have kept this guy mint in package because that's how I got him. But I didn't realize that he had the clear cockpit before I ripped that thing up. Let's take a little closer look at this guy. First thing I'm going to do is get rid of that MechTech weapon. It's pegged in there good. He does have a feature where you can spin this gun. I guess it's supposed to be like kind of like a Gatling gun. And I'll also say that a lot of the pictures show him transformed with these wings back, but I think that hollow plastic look just doesn't do it for me. And I'll also mention that my intention with this fella is to customize him into a G1 looking air raid. So basically painting the top half of him black is my intention. Now, I'll get a little look at his mug. Part of the reason that I wanted to do this video is when I looked around on YouTube, I didn't find any good videos where they were showing his mug. And that could have been because of the purple plastic, but there he is. He's almost looks like he has a bit of a smile. So I thought I'd do a video on this guy. Let's go through articulation. That head is on a ball joint, but good luck moving it around in here. Unless you've got child fingers, you're not getting in there very easily. You have a ball joint on his shoulders, so you can do what you need to do there. He goes forward and back and technically would do 360. He has a Mech Alive feature in that bicep. You can see that rocking around there and gets you your swivel. He bends at 90 degrees at the arm and has a swivel at the wrist. He technically has a waist swivel, but part of his transformation involves you clipping his backpack to his spine. Now, that's not going to affect if you move it, because as soon as you move it, that comes unclipped, and you could rock this back and affect that, but you could see how you could really give him a butterfly looking effect if you use that waist swivel. But it is there for posing if you really need it. At the hips, you have a ball joint at the hips, which are really limited out. You're not going to get much out, but you do actually have a swivel inside of there. So you do get a good swivel action. At the knees, you have less than a 90-degree bend, but there is a little piece here that you can pull back just to make them look a little cooler. I'm not looking at the back of my bot's knees very often, and you can see as soon as you articulate it, it pulls back down. One of my favorite parts of his articulation, aside from the fact that he has a swivel at the top of his ankle, is this great rocker. You can break that foot, and then you can articulate the foot forward and back, and you have a little heel spur that does what you need it to do. Here he is with the aforementioned air raid. This is again, was released in Japan. I believe he was like a DA-30, 31. He was up there. But that's the air raid that most people are familiar with. You have a Combiner Wars Power Glide, and here is a Salter, who's basically a broadside, who I love. He's a heavy, lovely bot. But there's some flight bots for comparison. In the interest of being thorough, I wanted to show you basically how he's packaged and what he came with. One of the things he came with was this little card. The card had a plastic layer on top of it. So basically you get this card where he says he has 5,000. 5,000 to what? I have no idea. And then you slide the mech tech weapon over top and you add 3,000 to it. Yay, he's better now. So that's what you have for the card. And again, that's a Takara kind of thing. You weren't getting that on North American releases. I'm sorry, my camera's having a fit, but I can't read any of that. I'll also give you a quick look at his mug because, like I said, you can't really see it behind that cockpit. But you can clearly see that it's supposed to be purple, but according to this picture. And he has some pretty good stats. Aside from rank and strength, he has some good stats. And here is his card back. His card back's all right. You know, again, purple cockpit. And I don't know if you want to read that stuff, but there it is if you want to read it. Let's get him transformed and we'll take a look at him that way. Here's Air Raid in his jet mode. I think he's an F-35, or supposed to look sort of like an F-35. And you can see the terrible looking mech tech weapon on top. So, you know, let's activate it and get rid of that. You can peg said mech tech weapon under either side of the wings if you needed to. I think overall, he actually cleans up pretty good as far as jet mode goes. Again, very similar to thrust and breakaway. He does have a rolling landing gear here and rolling wheels built into his shins or knees. So he really is a nice vehicle. My intention again is to paint the top of him black and do a little bit of accenting and have a G1 looking air raid at the end of the day. He has a rubber tipped nose and you could see his noggin in there, which I think is kind of fun. It kind of reminds me of the 2000 RID series where you'd see a lot of the guys' heads in their vehicle mode. So that's kind of cool. Not a lot else to say about this. I mean, honestly, I'll give you what I think about this. You guys ever go to take a number 2, and it's going to be a perfect number 2. Just feeling good. And you go to wipe, and all you got is some cheap TP. Nothing good. The toilet paper is bad. And maybe even your finger busts through that teepee and you touch your bunghole and you're just like, oh God, that ruined what could have been a great number two. That's how I feel about this guy. He could have been great. There's a lot of things that look good about him, but he kinda ruins it. For his alt mode comparison, I have a Cyberverse Power Glide from the movie line. You also have a repaint of a movie line bot here. He is Blades from the Protect the Bot pack that came out recently. And you have Tetra Squad Rebellor, who's based off of a G1 cartoon look. So, he's your average deluxe size plane. Hope you enjoyed my review of Air Raid, and stay tuned because I'd love to show you what he looks like after he's painted. But he's really not the worst bot in the world, just is he satisfying? Probably not. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Why is everybody loving his little mask? I'm going to put it down. I don't get it. Yeah, his toy looked like that, but that's not what he looked like in the cartoon. I think he looks great like that. He looks ridiculously great. Loving it.